go?
Yes.
Okay, hi. This magnificent object is known as the Dam Sum drum. It's from northern Vietnam. It's made of bronze and is a highly sophisticated object done 2,000 years ago. Most of the drums such as this one were found in burial sites. And because of the high level of sophistication and the material used, make us believe that only like a wealthy person or a noble person could have afforded to buy one of those. The Johnson, the top of it, it has a 12-pointed star. And it has some bird-like motifs. And it does some people, they believe that their ancestor could have taken the shape of a bird. On the board itself, we have sawtooth-like motifs. And underneath, on the bodies, you see like the hourglass-shaped body, we have buffaloes. For the Dansan people, buffaloes were very important animals because they were farm-oriented culture. And the buffalo would help with plowing. Also, bronze, it's an alloy made of tin and copper. And all that technology was extremely advanced for the time, 2,000 years ago, to mix those two materials together that would make something more malleable and also firm. As another indication that only the wealthy people could afford it. Some believe that this drum was actually meant to be played. You would hit when somebody died because the sound waves could reach the world, just like the scent of a flower or an incense. So this buffalo-like motif here is presented on bronze. Let's see an example on wood.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, what could this be? This magnificent structure, this large structure, this wooden structure. Well, it's actually a granary facade. And what is a granary? Well, granary is like a pantry. Some would say it's like a barn or a silo. It's where you store your grains. It's actually from North Sumatra in Indonesia. It's from the early 20th century. Constructions like that were built by a group of people called the Batak. And traditionally they would divide the houses and the granaries in three because it's a metaphor resembling how the world was divided for them. The world was divided in three: the underworld, the middle world, and the upper world. Well, this house, here we can actually see some of the motifs like the Dansan drum with the buffaloes because they were also farmers. Farming was important from them. In a granary such as this, it would be built on high pillars that some say the legs could resemble the legs of the ancestors. The facade itself will resemble the face of ancestors. They would keep the livestock on the lower level in the underworld. In the middle, that's where they would keep single men and outer town guests. They would sleep in this large space. And on top, that's where would they keep the grains. This is also like a scientific reason that they may have not been aware, but it raises the humidity. It keeps away, and also keeps the animals away from the grains and insects. They're all like further. As I said, we can see in the middle the same motifs with the buffalo, and on the center could be the tongue, which is also for protection. We saw that the Batak, how they divided the world in three. We're gonna see another group of people that also divided the world in three, and they also use animals like a tongue coming out for their protection. Well, do you think you can sit on it?
Yes.
Yes. This is maybe like a bench Well, if it wasn't a museum, maybe you could sit, but not here in a museum. It's actually over 100 years old. And it's very important because it was very expensive. Have you heard of the group of people called Nayas?
No.
Well, Nayas people live in the Nayas island in Indonesia. Some people say it's the best kept secret in Asia. Shh, don't tell anybody. Well, some surfers have found out because it has big, long, sandy beaches and high waves, and the water is so clear that when they surf, they can see the turtles under. Well, do you know what is a social status?
No.
So social status is when you want to be popular with your friends, you want to show them how cool you are. So the Nayas people also did that. So they would order a bench, a throne like this one. But do you know what's the material on it?
No, stone?
It's stone. And do you think it's easy to carry?
No.
No, stone is very heavy. The Nayas people, they were very skilled. They learned how to make stones, and to learn how to make work like this take many years. And the best you are at something, the more money you charge, and the more expensive something that becomes. That's why we think that only like the upper class, the noble people could afford one. Also, when you want to be popular, what do you do?
I don't know.
You throw a party. You throw a party, everybody loves you. You have food, you have music. And that's what they did. When they would purchase something like that, they would throw a big block party and invite everybody. They would come. And the hostess was actually sitting on it. Do you have a special place you sit on when you go to a party?
No.
Well, I like to sit on the balcony. I like to feel the fresh air. And with the Nayas, the host would be on this bench. We also have a lot of this is a mystical creature. It's called the osa-osa. Do you recognize any of the animals here in the face?
Not really.
Well, it has big pointy teeth, like an alligator. It also has this big, powerful jaw, and kind of looks like a dragon. These legs are also look like an alligator walking. That represents the underworld. This kind of earthly animals represent the underworld. And on the tail, what do you think it looks like?
Birds?
Yes, it's the feathers of a bird. It's like a little bird tail. That represents the upper world, what the ancestors would live. Same as we heard throughout the gallery, that some people would believe that the ancestors would be represented by birds because they are in the air, they fly. But where do we live?
In the middle?
Yes, we live in the middle world. That's why the host would sit in the middle. Well, so in order to emphasize, here I am, I'm popular, I have a social status, they would put something in front of their house. And that's when they would throw the party. That we learned. Also, the Nayas people believe the person who sits on it would be protected by magical powers, by a very strong force. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you.